So first and foremost, thank you so much for joining us. I've read so much about you. I went online, I looked for you on Google, and I could really read some amazing things about you. We are so glad
Wow.
to have you with us today.
Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure. It's a
So
great opportunity to work with young people.
thank you. Thank you so much. The youth is lucky to have you. So let's start with knowing how your lockdown has been.
I've
Yeah.
been very busy, Kavneet, because right from the very first day, I started talking to the media, started talking to the society through various electronic ways about how to keep themselves in high spirits, how to take care of their mental health, their wellness. And I had already predicted that it's going to take a big toll on people's mental health. And I see a lot of psychosocial issues coming up. So I was already trying to warn society by my own little ways, interactions through media, social media, and my writings and all. So that was keeping me very busy. Then we were doing a number of webinars, and our entire teaching shifted to online mode. So in a way, it was very busy. Now I think we are rather more busy because it's 24/7. Then so many helpline calls are coming for people from people who need psychological help. So much of distress is there. People are suffering loneliness. They have anxiety and so many other psychosocial issues. And now after this 40 days, suddenly there's a big upsurge in the complaints related to mental health, and we are handling all that. Yeah, and I foresee a more in the future, a more to come. So psychologists, social scientists, they have a lot of work here. Apart from the healthcare professionals, they are the ones who are giving the first aid. But at the same time, in any crisis or in any disaster, people need psychological first aid as well. So we are gearing up for that.
Definitely, definitely. Because more than anything else, we first need to get adapted to the situation.
Yes, yes, yes. And the one who can adapt, that person will survive. The fittest will
Right.
survive, and the fittest is the one who can adapt.
So, ma'am, the moment I put the post that we are going in live with you, a lot of your students and so many people from the city who've known you started telling what their struggles were. And we mentioned that if they would like to talk about their problems with us and they want to stay anonymous, we can totally help them with that. So we have some questions that have come up, and the people want to stay anonymous, but they want
Okay.
answers to these questions. Every single guy talks shit about me every time I reject them.
Oh, I think many girls, they go through this. And when a woman or a girl is rejecting a man, it is a kind of it's a kind of a hurt on their masculinity. And I would not consider it masculinity. I would call it toxic masculinity, because in our culture, males, they are held on a very high pedestal right from the day they are born. They consider that there are certain things they are entitled to. And what they have seen in the family is patriarchy, that their dad has always snubbed their mother. And similarly, they have seen the older people in the house, they're snubbing their mother, and the dada snubbing the dadi and all. So they have never understood, never learned what the rights of a woman are, what the respect of a woman are. So it is more about the cultural aspects. It's more about the grooming. It's more about what they have learned in the family. They have not learned, or nobody has taught them to understand what a no means. And the consent of a woman is important, and the woman has to agree from the bottom of her heart. And in case she rejects you, does not mean that you are a bad person. So they take it as a blow to the self-esteem, because in Indian society, being a male and the sexual part is considered as a big criteria of being a male. So rather than ascribing importance to other roles of a male, like being a breadwinner or being a person who would take care of the family, I think we are kind of forgetting all those things. If you see the number of people who are into mediocrity, people who are into drugs, so many, it's males are higher on that. It reflects more on the person who is being abusive or who is spreading shitty things about her. I think one should feel sorry for that person, rather than kind of go into a guilt trip or going into some sort of depression, or going into some sort of self-abasement. So I think we should just kind of, feel sorry for that guy and feel sorry for this, for the bad parenting and for the bad cultural influences he's had. So it's nothing to do with the girl. Girls rather should be more autonomous and more aware about their rights to say no, and to, if they want to get into any relationship, if they want to go into any friendship, they have the autonomy to choose the person whom they think they are actually comfortable with, and they can actually relate to the person. And there'll be so many people trying to if you have a lot of good material in you. Good material could be, I mean, if you are well read, if you are intelligent, if you are a go-getter, if you're an achiever, good looking, confident, there's so many people who would try to get close to you. But you have to choose what you want, and you should not get hurt, or you should not kind of punish yourself with your own negative thoughts if other people are talking bad about you, or if they are kind of spreading nonsense about you, because you need to know what you want. And if you know what you want, you should not give a damn, I would say. Just let it go and keep walking your way in your high heels.
I think when men actually react to such situations in way than when they take things to their manhood, I think they are the ones who actually are the powerless ones, and they are showing how,
And
they
Kavneet, if you have really met people who are chivalrous, who respect women, men who have a high self-esteem, they would never get hurt by a woman's no. They would want rather to maintain the friendship. If not, if they cannot get intimate with a woman to the level of physical intimacy or sexual intimacy, at least they would want to maintain some sort of intellectual friendship, or just be around that woman because they like that woman, or they admire that woman. They would not even want to lose a good friend in her. So I think it's better. I think it's good riddance. Let those people go away, and let those people be out of your life. Bless them and wish them good luck.
And I'm sure this is going to be really helpful for a lot of girls, because I think most of the girls are facing this issue every day.
Not most, I think everybody in our culture, there's so much of shaming of a woman about so many unnecessary things. I think we need to work on, I think I need to talk about this first, because most of the concerns would be around girls getting depressed, feeling lonely, feeling sad, feeling suicidal even, and anxiety on the basis of what others are talking about me, what others say about me. So our culture has been such that we've been very, very hypercritical. We've never learned how to compliment others, or how to accept the goodness of others, and how to celebrate the goodness of others with grace and fervor. So the whole culture has to change, I guess, and we have to appreciate people for what they are, and try to build ourselves and get inspired, and not feel jealous of other people's success or their qualities, or wherever they are right now. So the whole culture has to change, and we need to have always say, have a big heart. Even with your own, I have seen the best of friends, they're turning enemies. They just spread bitter things about their best of friends. They are a kind of a secret enemy, as they call frenemies. It's what happened day before yesterday, the boys' locker and all. You must have read there were certain women who were supporting those boys. So I think women should, before we expect men to stand for women, I think women should stand for women. And I think this whole girls group, Girl Up, it should be all about that. Women supporting others rather than feeling jealous and backbiting and gossiping and spreading rumors. And if you have seen your school life, how do your most intimate things go out? It is your own friends. They once who were some very good friends. You must have shared such intimate details about your friendships, about your love interests, about your crushes, about your relationships, your family matters. They are the people who have backstabbed you. So that's how the things have spread in the first place. So before we expect anything good from the boys gang, so I think women should allege loyalty and support to each other.
To what extent can hatred be considered freedom of speech and not bullying?
Okay, so that's a very interesting question. So in order to be called bullying, how do we judge whether a behavior is bullying, is qualifying to be in the criteria of bullying or not? So there are three things which are important, which qualify to a particular behavior in the category of bullying. Like, for example, let's talk about cyberbullying, right? There are two kinds of bullying: the traditional bullying and the cyberbullying. So traditional bullying is what we guys used to have in school in our times, like the big bad boy in the school eating the tiffin, or stealing away money, or tearing our books, or throwing away the bicycles, or slapping somebody. So that is a kind of a traditional face-to-face bullying. But now this kind of bullying pattern has shifted online, and we use the term cyberbullying. So there are three things which need to be involved in order to be called bullying. One is intention to harm. The intent to harm has to be there. If you are having that intent to harm somebody, you have an idea that, yes, I want to harm, I want to trouble this person, I want to tease this person, I want to target this person. So one thing has to be the intent. You should have an evil intent in your mind that, yes, it's a pre-planned thing, it's a well thought of thing to trouble somebody, right? Number two, there has to be an imbalance of power, right? One person is big and the other person is small. So the power could be you are belonging to one particular, maybe you're belonging to the ruling party, or you're belonging to one particular group of people who have more status or more influence in the society, or as like imbalance of power could be in terms of gender also, because in India, being, males consider themselves to be more powerful than women, right? But in the context of this thing, cyber world, the power is imbalanced by something called anonymity. Now, because when you are behind the computer screen, as they say, a meek lamb becomes a big bad wolf. You don't have to be very big in size to trouble somebody online. All that you need is an evil mind, an intent to harm, and a data pack. And you could be, the smallest, the tiniest little kid in the class. But if you have that intent, you can destroy the other person's life forever. You can tarnish that person's image. You can just, put that person to tears, and you can create so much of problem for that person. You don't have to be big in size. So what makes you powerful here in the context of cyber world? It is the anonymity. Anonymity gives you power, right? So when you have that kind of a power, with the pressing of a button, you can, do it. So that second criteria is power. And the third is repetition. If you are repeating it again and again, right? So in traditional bullying, in face-to-face bullying, the particular behavior, like if a boy is eating up my tiffin every day, or he has done it twice, thrice, so that will be called a bullying. But even in the cyber world, contrarily, you don't need to repeat it. Even one time thing could be kind of a cyberbullying, because once you have done something, once you have posted something, or once you have commented something, or written a hate speech, or a hate message, or you have body shamed somebody, or spread rumors about somebody, this post can be shared by so many people. And once it is on the internet, it is always on the internet because of digital footprinting. So it is always going to be there. And one-time behavior is probably 100 times more potent and powerful than if you keep it repeating it 100 times in daily life, because the audience is infinite, right? And the harm is so much because that person against whom you are spreading the hatred or spreading nonsense about that person can never be in a bully-free environment. Earlier in the school, once the kid was back home, the environment was safe. The child was in the home, the doors were shut, at least he could have a breath. That, okay, now nobody can harm me. But now it is always around him. Everybody is accessible to that particular material, what has been done. People might have saved it, people might have taken screenshots, and so and so. So this kind, you don't need to repeat it. So if you think that somebody is intentionally doing it, right? So that conforms to cyberbullying. Even if the person has done it one time, even that is cyberbullying, right? And even if somebody, if you go to the police station and say कि मेरे को इसने ऐसे किया, वो कहेंगे तो छोटू सा ये क्या करेगा? No, even that will be cyberbullying. Even if your own domestic help is doing it, or the security guard is doing it, or the plumber is doing it, so even that is like, that will also qualify to be in the cyberbullying category. So one time bad intent, writing something to tease you, to trouble you, to threaten you, to talk about, to tarnish your image, that will be considered as a this thing. And we've seen so much of all this in the political world. If you see, these IT cells, they're tarnishing women. They are kind of spreading hatred. They are spreading rumors, and they're giving all these rape threats. So many things are happening to women, and they definitely qualify to be in the cyberbullying, because you have given harm to the person, you have embarrassed that person, you have threatened the person. So one time behavior, we have unanimously agreed upon, the psychologists have agreed upon it, that even if it is one time but with an evil intention in mind, so that can be considered as a cyberbullying. So one needs to be sensitive about it. If one feels that he has been violated online, or somebody has troubled, somebody has teased it, and it is deliberately done, then you should not spare that person. You should, you have to act.
So a lot of friends that I've known, they have been in a place where they've been a part of groups like Boys Locker Room, and they are not able to decide if they are the criminals or not. Because what they've mentioned to me is that we never spoke anything wrong, but yes, we've been a part of such groups where other people were talking about it, and we cannot rat them out because we will be
Kavneet, it's a very interesting question, and a lot of research is going on regarding this. See, if some fight is happening in the real world, for example, if you remember your school sports ground, or the school veranda, or the courtyard, or near the water taps, if two kids would be fighting, and there would be other kids standing around the person, the bystanders, you understand, jo tamasha dekhte hain, right? So similarly, in the cyber world, we call those people cyber bystanders, and we believe, now the research is showing that those people have a lot of power, because you have entered into that group, you have been added into that group. Now this is you have that potency, you have a power of saying no to this particular irresponsible behavior. So even though, that the law would kind of implicate them or whatever, after a real understanding that how many times they have further shared it or liked it or endorsed it. So there's a big responsibility on the cyber bystanders, the people who are there around the this thing, when this whole chat is happening or this discussion is happening. If you just relate it to the real life thing, there were some people who were just kind of supporting the bully is the person, or the person who is harming, the perpetrator. So they could be people who are assistant bullies. There could be some people who are just laughing at it. There could be some people who are defending the victim. So there are many roles which the cyber bystanders are doing. But it has been found by research, one of our own research papers has found it, that if the cyber bystanders say no to it, so it is like breaking that morale of that particular group behavior, and it is like breaking the chain. Jaise wo kehte hain na, a lot of memes are going on, the candle thing, corona, if you just step out, that chain will be broken. So if the bystanders, they stand up and they say, this is bad, this is wrong, we should not be talking about these things. So it is important to raise that voice. One, if a bystander stands up, it breaks the kind of that viciousness. That chain of viciousness is broken. So it is important, as a bystander, you might not be an active person in the whole group, but being a bystander, being a part of that group, you are enjoying it, right? And you never stood up when things were wrong. So there's a lot of moral responsibility. I think legal responsibility, though, investigation would find out what they were doing it, whether they were liking it, or they were just sending emojis or smiles or whatever, expressions and all, or maybe further sharing it. There is definitely, they are enjoying some sort of pleasure. That's why they are there. Otherwise, why would anybody want to be there? First of all, entering into a group of people where you have no business. Why are you there? And this is what we are telling the kids. I don't know whether information has reached such schools or not, what the school psychologists are doing or not. We will always tell the people, the kids, that no need to enter into groups where you don't have any business. If you have that kind of mentality, If you have those kind of interests, that's why you are there. Or you're just a silent spectator. So, but your role would have been to exit the group or to raise a voice whenever such things were being talked about, because there's a lot of things which cyber bystanders can do. And if one person, like if in a group, one person stands up, there are 70% chances that the bullying behavior will not occur again. The person, the bully, will be demotivated. That person will be kind of a, it is just like you have an audience. Those bystanders, they are an audience to give you an applause. Okay, very good, right? So you are just giving them some people who are kind of reinforcing you, and you're trying to be this bullying. Whatever is happening, it's all about gaining dominance. It's about status. These bullies, they need status, they have identity issues, they need some power, and they need audience. So all these cyber bystanders, the other people in the group, they are feeding those ulterior motives, what they're looking for. Just as they say, you look at the monkey and the monkey will start dancing. Why are you looking at the monkey? Let the monkey dance, go away, let him be alone. So I think being there is I think it is a lot of your own choice. You're not a kid, I mean, anymore. And there's no defense of being, if you say that I'm too young, being young is no defense. No, if you say that I'm young, I don't know, all big things start from here. All these people, the young people, they will graduate to become, delinquents, to criminals, to hardcore criminals, to rapists, to people who are, women haters. And they are the people who are spreading all these, IT cell kind of people who are giving rape threats and killing threats, and all these people, they are graduating to those levels. So they have to be taken to task, if not from a legal angle, but at least from the psychosocial angle. Life is all about choices. You've chosen to be there. And once, you are free to choose things for yourself, but you have no freedom over the consequences. That's what the kids have to know. They can decide, they are free to act, but they're not free to choose the consequences of their actions.
Right. At the end of the day, we have to report.
Yes, you have to learn with the consequences. Yeah, and that's what the kids are not trained. Nobody tells them that you cannot, you have to bear it now.
Sex education definitely plays a big role in understanding that, to this extent, it's just a fun play. And once you cross this limit, it's a crime. It's a criminal offense.
Yes. But the problem, Kavneet, is that our society is so hush-hush about sex education. If you talk to just a regular school, a city school or a town school, and you say that, okay, I'm here to talk about sex education, the first plea they would say is it's Indian culture. But this is what I always dispute with these people, that Indian culture does not say disrespect women or, be violent to women. We need to talk about it, and the kids have to know. And if you are not talking about this to the kids, don't assume that they don't know it. They know more than you, and they have multiple sources. And if you see that, kids as young as 10, 12, they have watched porn. There's so much of cyber porn consumption. So if you don't, educate them yourself, they will go into all kind of these things. Importance of healthy relationships, talk about women dignity, and the importance of women's consent, and how to respect the woman. So all these things have to be a part of that sex education, and we should not just let this responsibility go to the hands of these cyber porn players. Either we'll do it responsibly, or we let it happen and let them watch porn. I would use it as a platform to convey to the people who, if somebody is listening, so please educate, please talk to your kids about sex, about safe sex, about healthy relationships, how to build good communication with the other person. You're trying to build relationships. If you don't do it, your work will be done by the cyber porn industry. I'm 100% sure about that. So it is you decide.
The parents themselves, they are just so insecure and so uncomfortable talking about things like sex and relationships to their kids that they don't know what they're putting their kids into when they're not talking about it.
It's about kids' safety, it's about kids' health, and now the chances to explore, the chances to experiment, the opportunities available are so many. our parents, me, we could survive that age because we never had the chances. The world was not so open. We never had internet when we were growing up. We were not so mobile, going places, visiting, having, so many birthday parties and pajama parties and sleepovers. We never had that kind of life. But today's kids, they have a different life. They have lots of opportunities. If you stop your kids from all that, they are either going to rebel against you or they're going to get depressed. And this is a very ripe age to get depressed. And these small things, kids get depressed because of all these things. My parents are not allowing me to go to a birthday party, or I have curfew, or I'm not allowed this kind of a hairstyle. These small things, they are, enough to put a kid in depression. So it is either you want your kid to be happy, healthy, or you want him to be a kind of, that Sati Savitri type. So it's up to you. You have to learn to have a balance. You have to understand that your kids they have needs, and it is really, really normal for a kid to have these kind of needs. So please get out of that fool's paradise. If you think that you can just protect your life is around protecting the virginity of your girl, you might be able to protect her virginity, but she'll mess up her mental health, and she probably might end up doing certain things which might risk her health. And same for the boy too. So if you want your kids to live, stay alive, stay healthy, stay happy, let them know what they're doing, teach them whatever is right, and let them decide. But at the same time, keep a little connection with the kids, keep talking to them, make sure you know what is happening in the kids' life, but you cannot suffocate your kids anymore.
If the girls are being blackmailed, they should not send out their nudes in the first place.
Yes, I agree. Totally. I have done so many workshops in schools and colleges on cyber safety, cyber bullying, online safety. So this is the first thing. And there have been instances where I have asked the girls that you have to kasam khalo is cheez ki you will never share your pictures, your intimate pictures, your washroom selfies. Howsoever the boy is cajoling you, he's persuading you, sacha pyar ka wasta de, this, that, whatever. You don't have to give in to this. Okay, you have full faith on your boyfriend, fine. But just an example, if his phone crashes and it goes to a repair shop or something, your data is in the hands of people. You don't even know what that person can do to your pictures, right? So as I said, once something is there on the internet, it is always there. So it can, any time this can become a kind of a weapon against you. So I don't doubt the intentions of the relationships you are, the people with whom you are in relationships, but it could be any glitch, it could be any techno failure, anything. So please avoid all this. Don't do this. Most of the girl suicides in the developed countries, even in developing countries, they are happening because of something called revenge porn. After the breakup, usually as we started our discussion with, that boys cannot hear no. So normally what happens, because I've been working with adolescents for like more than half of my life now, in a typical Indian society, in a typical Indian situation, boys usually have this mindset that a girl cannot end the relationship without the man's consent. So if the girl is trying to end the relationship without them, and the man is not willing to let her go, he might create a problem for her, for her image, for her physical safety, and this thing can be leaked tomorrow as a revenge porn. And Kavneet, there have been cases where girls studying in BTech, even MTech, they have come crying, they are into depression because these things have come in the way for all their future relationships. Whenever there's been any circumstances where the parents are trying to fix up their matrimony somewhere, or they gotten engaged to another guy, those pictures have been viral. Those pictures have been leaked out, right? And just 3-4 months back, there was a suicide by an Indian girl in Malaysia because of all this, because she was in a relationship with a guy here, and then she went to Malaysia for some work or on some work permit. But that boy was continuously harassing her because he did not want her to end the relationship, and she then she committed suicide hanging from a ceiling fan. So you don't know, today it is all lovey-dovey, everything is rosy, but tomorrow you don't know what the intentions would be like or what the emotions would be like, and this revenge porn could be used against you to create troubles for you. So it's better to be safe than to be sorry. These things, they belong to you, and let the other person work hard to see you. If that person is really interested in seeing your body, what you look like, let that person make arrangements to, you know, to meet you. Let him take risks, let him work hard, let him make effort. Why should you make all these efforts and take risks? I think girls should understand. If he's so much interested in knowing what you look like, let him come and meet you.
Right. Ma'am, personally, I have known a lot of people who've been in places where they got out of a relationship and then their exes would trouble them and they would threaten them to, you know, leak their pictures and all of these things. So what would you suggest for these girls to do when they are in a position like this?
So I think first of all, Kamneet, it's all about changing. First of all, the cultural paradigm has to be changed. Our cultural norms have to be changed. We are so sensitive about other people's. Like, first of all, we should know that it's a part of growing up, right? Slowly, you know, the culture has accepted many things. You know, dating has come into Indian context. There are many kids who are slowly, the parents have allowed kids to even come home and meet their boyfriends and girlfriends at home. And slowly, you know, many things have changed in society, and they have helped our kids move and sail smoothly. At the same time, you know, slowly there has to be a shift in the entire cultural perceptions that this is totally normal to fail and falter in relationships, right? And if a relationship has failed, or if something can, you know, it can happen to anyone. And the thing is that we just try to kind of shame others for their failures, and we think that probably we are invulnerable. No harm can be done to us. And this is especially for the kids. Like, if you talk about a mature person, he or she will have a different, he or she will not get so excited looking at such leaked pictures, because when you grow up, you understand that we are all vulnerable. Anything can happen to anyone. But at your age, at this particular age, there's a sense of a kind of invulnerability, right? And we call it personal fable, and we just say, oh, these things can happen to others, not me. So I think when such things are happening, the kids should know that rather than laughing it off or just having fun at it, one should know that if your neighbor's house is at fire, the next one could be yours. We are all in the same boat. We are same boat brothers, right? So that culture of shaming, the culture of laughing, of making fun at others, or creating such a haw-high over certain things, we should accept it. Fine, that things can fall, things can fail, relationships can fail, and these are the lateral damages. It is about, like, you know, many bad accidents happen. You are going on the GT road and you collide with a vehicle, and there could be there could be just some people who would be getting involved and getting killed without any fault of theirs, right? So we should have that kind of understanding in the society that bad things can happen to anyone, and let's not make fun at it. So, and see, things can go wrong. It can go wrong with you. It can go wrong with me. I have seen even married women, they have been blackmailed by their ex-husbands, right? So things can go wrong. That is fine. What is wrong is not to try. Give that other person a chance to stand up once again, to regain his or her confidence again. That is what we need to do. This kind of culture has to be built up. This kind of society has to be built up, where we empathize, we understand the other person, what that person is going through, and we have a very open heart about admitting that this can happen with me, my brother, my sister, my cousin, with my daughter tomorrow. And let's give a chance to this person to regain confidence and to again live a life of self-respect. So I think that whole cultural transition has to be there, at least with the young people. They need to understand this thing. If somebody is trying to target you or embarrass you or tease you online, you actually need to, first of all, you know, save a screenshot of that and tell that person not to trouble you. You have to be very clearly, very assertively tell the person that please don't trouble me, right? And then if that person does not stop, you have to act. You have to talk to somebody And you know what happens is, most of the times, in 80% of the cases, kids don't talk to older people. They don't, we don't discuss it with others, because again, the same cultural issues. We don't have confidence in our parents' ability to understand this issue. You know, in a regular family, if a girl says that I've been bullied online, like just like this thing happened, this in this boys' locker room case, that girl who was the whistleblower, she's written that her own mother said, stop Instagram, don't use IG, right? So this is what happens, you know, when a girl is being victimized, the first response of the parents is that you will not go on the internet now. We'll take your tab, we'll take your phone and whatever. You will not, you know, use accounts, you will not do this thing. So kids, because of all this, when they know that the parents are not going to support them, they're not going to understand the situation, and rather find faults with their own child. Right? So it's usually the victim blaming. There's more of victim blaming. So that kind of a culture, that kind of attitude has to change. We need to have that kind of confidence in our older people, in our teachers, in our seniors, in our parents and other people in our society, that we can go and talk to them. And secondly, okay, so fine, bachche ne baat bhi kar li. Now what happens? In 90% of these older people don't know what to do. See, now there's a difference. Pehle to bachcha baat hi nahi karta. The kid was not willing to talk to the older people that I am being bullied, because so much of things are at stake. Uski koi na koi photographs bhi honge, uski chats bhi honge, unko pata hai. The parents are going to get mad at the kid. The parents are going to have sanctions on the kid's behavior, they're taking away that kid's freedom and blame that person that you were wearing those kind of clothes and you've been out and about and you were reckless and we told you na, tere ko bola tha na. All those things, you know, will flare up, right? So agar wo baat kar bhi deti hai, parents do. If the parents go to talk to the school, this is our empirical evidence. This is what we have found in our own studies. 90% of the parents don't know what to do. They go to the school says, ये तो सारा आपका, it is happening in your school, in your home. It is none of the school thing. It is none of the college thing, because your girl is using internet from your home. She has those sites and those kind of social networking platforms at home. This has got nothing to do with the school. And कई बार ऐसे भी आए cases when the parents, they have actually entered into a kind of a bitter war with the parents of that boy. So much so कि violence भी हो गई है. कि उसके बाद उसके घर जाके लड़ाई झगड़ा, this that. So again, I would say we really need to educate the society that when you are on internet, just like when you are in a car, accident can happen. Similarly, when you are on the internet, there could be bad things, but then what to do? Let the kid talk to you, because if the kids don't share with you, it's a determined, you know, consider that, you know, the battle is lost. So if the kid is sharing something with you, you still have a chance to save that kid's life, save that kid's sanity, right? So this culture has to be there, that encourage your kids to come and talk to you even in the most disastrous situations. The kids should have that courage कि मैंने अपने पेरेंट्स से बात करनी है, and come what may, my parents will listen to me. So that kind of culture has to be there, and then the parents should know what to do. School पे जाना है, and school should also assume some kind of responsibility that yes, this is happening because the other kid is also in the school, so we have to, you know, do something. We have to have a very soft approach or whatever, you know, we have to have a very balanced approach in handling these kind of situations. But the problem right now is because internet has just recently invaded society, we are all unprepared. किसी को कुछ नहीं पता. It is all happening, you know, just by chance you are, or by your own good luck, you are evading and you are maneuvering your way in this terrible situation, but nobody's prepared. Nobody knows actually what to do. And अगर ये चीजें उस पे चले भी जाती हैं, police complaints and all that, again, I would say the IT Act is like a paper tiger. You know, it doesn't have anything. And that India में cybersecurity के laws हैं, they are not very dedicated, not very effective. They really need to be a lot of work done on them. So Abhi, I think we need to work at many levels, at the parent-child communication level, then the, you know, a school's responsibility, then at the level of the law and all those kind of things. A lot of levels have to be crossed in before we can say that internet is a safe zone, or you know, we know what to do. We actually don't know what to do. There is no SOP. Best is be safe. So that's why we say be safe online. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you
So
post anything, before you put anything on the social media, think twice. Never post anything there. It's for everybody, for the bullies and for the victims also. Never post anything whenever you are under emotion. It could be any emotion. आज बहुत प्यार आ रहा है, फिर you post something lovey-dovey things, और आज बहुत गुस्सा आ रहा है. So whenever you are under emotion, जैसे पहले कहते थे ना, पानी पियो, have a glass of water, you know, think twice. Is it necessary to post something? Is it important? इसके बिना गुजारा नहीं है. What if I don't? What will I lose if I don't post it? So whenever you are flooded with emotions, even good or bad, don't post anything under emotions, and never say anything to that person, to somebody, something online which you cannot say face to face in front of 100 people. If you don't dare to say that thing to somebody, you know, in front of a group of 100 people in real life, you will not say something to that person online as well, right? So बच्चों के बहुत moods होते हैं, many things you would say under emotions, but never post anything when you are emotional, right?
rural women are more liberal and independent than the pseudo feminists from the metros who are about makeup and fashion.
So first of all, I think we should never judge a woman's grit and her courage by the makeup, by her clothes. And first of all, you know, they should not define you. We are living in an independent country. Wear whatever you want to, have the makeup, have the heels, whatever you want to do, you know, just be yourself, unapologetically be yourself, and let not anybody judge your substance on the basis of what you look like, your complexion, your makeup, or whatever. It is your body. I always encourage the girls, you have all the right to decorate it the way you want it, whatever, you know, it is your identity, the way it appeals to you. So that is no measure of a woman's confidence or her grit and her courage and her dedication or her passion. So I think it's more about how we judge others, and we should not judge the book by its cover, right? Just look into the person, what that person's philosophy is, what that person's journey is, how far he or she has come, what his or her life goals are, and most importantly, what that person is doing for the society. Is that person's efforts or goals or journey helping the society or not? I think we need to change our parameters of calling ourselves successful now. It's more about what you are doing for the society. I think that should now correlate, or that should be now in proportion to the respect and to the accolade and to the acceptance which you are getting. So it's let's not go into by somebody's outer appearance, or you know, whatever. We've been given so many other things, like somebody was asking me, these singers and all these football players. So my take on this is, what is your contribution to society? If you're contributing to society, you are a successful person and you are a genuine person. If you're not contributing to society, you might project yourself to be a Sati Savitri, or you might project yourself to be whatever. You are nothing. I think in today's world, Corona episode has really changed our perception. We have now got to know, whom do we need? हमें किनकी जरूरत है? Do we need glamour dolls, or do we need people, footballers, or do we need people who are actually doing something for others? And let them be covered in any package, fashion, this, that, whatever, makeup. That should not define you. What should define you is what you're doing for others.
Right. So, ma'am, I think we should just wrap it up because the video is going to end anytime now. I would like to tell you that a lot of people have written in comments that are really appreciating, and I'll definitely share all the feedbacks with you. And thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sure whatever you've said will be very helpful for everybody. I can say this is very helpful for me, and I'm taking so much from this.
Good luck. Stay safe, all of you.
Thank
Bye.
You. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye.